Dr. Valter Longo, a University of Southern California professor, biogerontologist, and one of the world's leading experts in longevity and metabolic health, emphasizes that leg weakness, muscle fatigue, and balance issues after age 60 are often not just signs of aging, but reflections of long-term dietary misfires, especially involving certain types of seafood. According to the Italian-American doctor, after 60, your muscles don't just need protein. They require specific metabolic support, anti-inflammatory fats, trace minerals, and cofactors that assist in cellular repair and energy regulation during sleep. In this context, seafood stands out as a double-edged sword. Some varieties nourish and regenerate, while others quietly trigger inflammation and disrupt mitochondrial efficiency, impairing how your muscles convert nutrients into usable strength. Not all fish is helpful. Some choices are quietly working against your legs, disrupting circulation, slowing nerve signals, and blocking recovery overnight. Dr. Longo explains. He adds that subtle changes in seafood intake, especially in the evening, can significantly impact overnight muscle regeneration, joint function, and glucose handling, three key systems for maintaining lower body strength. In his research and clinical practice, Dr. Longo identifies 4 types of seafood that older adults should avoid completely due to their poor nutrient profile or high toxic burden. On the flip side, he highlights 4 powerful options that actively support collagen formation, anti-inflammatory pathways, and restorative metabolic cycles during rest. These choices aren't extreme, he notes, but when timed right, they can profoundly influence how strong and steady your legs feel in the morning. Below, we explore all 8, what to remove, and what to embrace, so your legs can do more than just carry you. They can carry you well. Worst seafood number 1, tilapia. The weak protein that silently drains your leg strength. Tilapia is one of the most common answers I hear when I ask older patients what they eat to stay lean. It's inexpensive, mild in flavor, and easy to cook. For many over 60, it feels like the logical, low-fat choice for better health. But just like we discussed in the beginning, what your legs need after 60 isn't just something light. They need nutrients that actively support muscle recovery, calm inflammation, and help your body restore strength overnight. Tilapia, unfortunately, does none of those things. Let's take a closer look at what's really happening inside your body when you eat it. Tilapia contains very little omega-3, the kind of fat that supports recovery and reduces muscle inflammation. Instead, it's high in omega-6 fats, which, in excess, promote low-grade inflammation. The result isn't dramatic pain. It's quiet disruption, just enough to slow muscle repair, interfere with recovery, and make your legs feel a bit heavier, slower, or more prone to fatigue. Think of it like this. Your muscles are like a quiet job site that needs calm conditions to rebuild each night. Omega-3s are like experienced foremen who bring tools and coordination. Omega-6s, when out of balance, are like background noise workers with no plan, showing up and crowding the site, preventing anything from getting done. But it's not just about fats. Tilapia also lacks the core nutrients your mitochondria need to generate usable energy nutrients like selenium, B12, CoQ10, and magnesium. These are the spark plugs inside your muscle cells. Without them, your body has no reliable way to produce ATP, the fuel needed for strength, balance, and movement. Eating tilapia is like trying to run a factory with no electricity. The building is there, the workers are ready, but the lights won't turn on. And then there's protein quality. Tilapia may be technically high in protein, but its amino acid profile is lacking. It doesn't fully activate mTOR, the signal that tells your body, now it's time to build muscle. So your body may eat it, digest it, and still not receive the right instruction to repair anything. If you've been relying on tilapia as your go-to fish, you're not alone. It's marketed as clean, healthy, and safe. But when it comes to aging mussels, it just doesn't deliver what your legs need. And after 60, every bite matters. Let's take a look at the next seafood and see what it's quietly doing beneath the surface. Worst seafood number 2: shrimp. The soft bite that whispers inflammation. In my clinical practice, shrimp comes up often when I ask older patients about their favorite light seafood. It's soft, low in fat, and simple to prepare. It shows up in salads, stir-fries, or gently steamed for dinner. Many people over 60 consider it harmless, almost ideal. But just like we saw with tilapia, what shrimp does inside the body is often very different from what it appears to offer on the plate. The issue starts with histamine, a naturally occurring compound found in shrimp, even when it's perfectly fresh. When you're younger, your body clears histamine efficiently, but after 60, that clearance slows down. Histamine lingers longer in your system, like a fire alarm that won't shut off even after the danger is gone. And when that false alarm repeats day after day, your body stays stuck in a state of mild, unnecessary alert. Mussels don't rebuild well under stress. They need calm, clean signals to begin repair. Histamine creates background noise, low-grade inflammation that doesn't always cause pain, but silently interferes with recovery. It's like trying to patch a road while traffic keeps rushing by. You pause. You wait. You never quite finish the job. Shrimp also doesn't give your muscles what they need to recover properly. It's low in omega-3, CoQ10, vitamin B12, and magnesium, the nutrients your mitochondria rely on to produce ATP, the energy your muscles need for movement, strength, and balance. So even if you're eating enough protein, your body may not have the cellular tools to turn that protein into repair. It's like having lumber, but no nails. The building just doesn't go up. Some people react to shrimp without even realizing it, not with hives or itching, but with stiffness in the knees, fatigue after dinner, or a dull ache in the calves the next morning. These symptoms are easy to dismiss, but when they repeat, they often point to a deeper problem. Your body is being distracted by something it can't easily process. If you're over 60 and feel like your legs are taking longer to bounce back, or that simple activity now leaves you more sore than before, shrimp may not be helping. It may be keeping your recovery systems on pause, just when you need them most. Let's move to the next one. This time, a fish that seems even more neutral, but has almost nothing your legs can use. Worst seafood number 3: catfish. A gentle fish the body doesn't know what to do with. Catfish often shows up on the dinner plates of older adults. It's soft, neutral in flavor, and doesn't upset the stomach. A simple piece of steamed catfish with a few slices of ginger may feel like the perfect light meal. It goes down easily, causes no bloating, and doesn't trigger the usual food sensitivities. But after 60, what your body needs isn't just lightness, it needs direction. And catfish offers almost none. Every night, your muscles need a plan. Tiny micro tears form during the day, and your body enters recovery mode while you sleep. But that recovery depends on clear biological signals, nutrients like omega-3s to lower inflammation, B12 to deliver repair instructions, selenium and CoQ10 to activate mitochondria and begin energy production. These are the internal tools your muscle cells need to switch from breakdown into rebuild. Catfish provides almost none of them. It's like showing up to a repair site with no blueprints, no crew, and no tools. The structure remains broken not because of damage, but because no one knows where to begin. Catfish may fill your plate, but it doesn't give your cells what they need to restore strength or function. You feel fed, but not fueled. Your stomach may feel full, but your legs stay depleted. and the protein it contains isn't enough to make up for those missing pieces. Without the right amino acid profile and supporting nutrients, catfish doesn't fully trigger the mTOR signal, your body's go command for muscle regeneration. So instead of building back stronger, your muscles idle in maintenance mode. They simply hold on. They don't advance. Nothing worsens immediately, but nothing improves either. You may notice it in small ways: a longer pause before standing up from your recliner, legs that tire more quickly after a trip to the market, or stiffness that lingers just a bit longer than it used to. The changes feel subtle, so catfish rarely gets blamed. But over time, the pattern adds up. A meal that does nothing for your legs is, in effect, working against them. And after 60, any food that doesn't move you forward slowly moves you back. Let's look at one last seafood that may be quietly doing the same. Worst seafood number 4: squid. The seafood that passes through, without leaving a message. In many nutrition consults, I've met older adults who choose squid as a lighter alternative to red meat. It's soft, easy to chew, easy to prepare grilled, stir-fried, or simmered in soup. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't trigger allergies. On the surface, it seems harmless, almost like a neutral choice. And in a way, it is. Squid doesn't directly harm the body. But that's exactly why it's so easy to overlook. Because after 60, what your body needs isn't silence. It needs clarity. It needs meals that speak clearly to your cells. Start the repair. Feed the mitochondria. Reduce the inflammation. Squid offers almost none of that. Each evening meal is a biological opportunity, a chance to tell your muscle cells that the day's wear and tear should be patched up overnight. For that to happen, the body needs very specific nutritional signals: omega-3s to calm inflammatory chatter, CoQ10 to activate mitochondrial energy, B12 and magnesium to support clean cellular fuel. But squid arrives with almost no tools in hand. It doesn't interrupt the process, but it also doesn't support it. It's like a visitor who walks through the room without saying a word, causing no mess, but offering no help. What makes matters worse is that squid contains relatively high amounts of cholesterol and purines, two compounds that an aging body becomes less efficient at processing. Cholesterol, in small amounts, is not harmful. But without omega-3s to balance it, it becomes harder to clear. It can accumulate inside the tiniest blood vessels, especially in the legs and feet, where circulation is already slower. That's where it begins to matter most. And purines, if not properly metabolized, convert into uric acid, another contributor to low-grade inflammation that can settle into the soft tissues around joints. This often leads to mild knee stiffness, dull pain in the ankles, or the sense that your legs just don't wake up as quickly as they used to. In a younger body, those signals are ignored and cleared fast. But after 60, they linger. They echo. They become background static, small enough to ignore, but loud enough to distract your body from doing what it knows how to do: repair. A plate of squid may feel light and easy, but the next morning, your legs may feel slightly heavier, the first few steps slower, the flexibility just a touch off. It's not dramatic, but it's there, and it builds. Squid doesn't break your system, but when eaten often, it slows everything down quietly. No crash, no fire, just a steady pause in the places that need to move forward. And after 60, any food that doesn't move you forward may quietly be holding you back. Now that we've seen which seafood quietly takes more than it gives, let's turn to the ones that do the opposite: nutrient-rich choices that not only nourish your body, but help your legs rebuild, restore, and remember strength again. Best seafood number 1. Sardines, small, humble, but sending a powerful signal. There's one fish I often recommend to older patients, not because it's expensive or trendy, but because it does exactly what the body needs, right when the body starts losing momentum. That fish is the sardine. Many people overlook sardines because they're small, bony, and not as valued as salmon or tuna. But on the scale of muscle recovery and anti-inflammatory support, sardines are one of the most powerful foods you can eat after 60. Each sardine is a compact biological signal EPA, DHA, CoQ10 calcium from its bones, vitamin B12 iron, zinc, and selenium. These are not vague nutrients. They're precise instructions. They come into your system like a team of skilled workers with clear blueprints, proper tools, and one firm message: time to rebuild these legs. Sardines don't just nourish, they organize. They bring order back to systems that have slowed with age. The omega-3s in sardines are in a highly bioavailable form. Unlike other sources that require conversion, EPA and DHA from sardines are ready to work calming inflammation deep within muscle tissue, repairing damaged cell membranes, and strengthening communication between nerves and muscle fibers. CoQ10, meanwhile, acts as a biological switch for your mitochondria. When that switch is flipped, your muscle cells begin producing ATP, the essential energy molecule, with more stability and consistency through the night. This helps you sleep deeper, restore faster, and wake with legs that feel lighter, steadier, and more responsive. If you eat sardines whole, you're also getting soft, natural calcium from the bones, gentler and more absorbable than synthetic supplements. When calcium is delivered to the right tissues and paired with omega-3s and vitamin K2 from vegetables, the bones, muscles, and joints function as one connected system, not isolated parts. The coordination feels small at first, but adds up over weeks. Sardines also carry one unique advantage. They sit low on the marine food chain and almost never accumulate mercury or toxins. So your body doesn't need to fight through anything just to access their nutrients. They come clean and ready. If you're looking for a seafood that truly supports recovery, protects joints, reduces silent inflammation, and improves leg strength after 60, sardines are a quiet but clear ally. Sometimes the most powerful foods are not the fanciest, but the ones that speak the right biological language, at the right time. But when your body needs more than repair, when it needs to restart, salmon steps into that role. Best seafood number 2. Salmon, the deep orange of inner renewal. If sardines are the quiet craftsmen who repair your body each night, then salmon is like an energy engineer, someone who steps in to inspect the entire metabolic system that's slowed with age and begins restarting the silent connections that have gone dormant. The pink-orange color of salmon isn't just visual. It's a biological signal, one that speaks directly to the mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every muscle cell. The natural pigment, astaxanthin, found in salmon acts like thermal insulation wrapped around each generator, protecting energy production from being interrupted by oxidative stress and age-related cellular noise. It helps keep the electrical flow of ATP, the molecule that powers movement and muscle contraction, running smoothly, quietly, and consistently through the night. Salmon is also one of the rare foods that delivers omega-3s in their active, fully usable form. EPA and DHA in salmon come biologically ready to work. Your body doesn't need to convert them or wait for enzymes to activate anything. They enter like fine, clean oil poured into an aging machine, quietly reducing joint friction, calming inflammation buried in muscle fibers, and improving the clarity of communication between your nerves, brain, and legs. When you eat salmon in the evening, you're not simply having fish. You're handing your body a carefully drawn recovery blueprint. The CoQ10 in salmon functions like the master switch that powers up the mitochondria. When flipped at the right moment during rest, your muscle cells don't just create energy, they restore stability, increase balance, and awaken a stronger foundation beneath your steps the next morning. Beyond omega-3s, salmon quietly delivers vitamin D and B12, two nutrients that behave like structural cables, reinforcing your nervous system, preventing nighttime cramps, misfiring signals, or sudden instability when standing after rest. And when you pair salmon with vegetables rich in vitamin K2, you activate a well-coordinated trio. K2 tells calcium where to settle. D3 helps absorb it into bone, and omega-3s keep everything flowing silently between systems without disruption. You don't need to eat salmon every day, but if you include it in your evening meals 2 or 3 times a week, you're offering your body something better than fuel. You're giving it a reminder of how to rebuild naturally, without strain, without supplements, through the quiet intelligence it once knew, and simply forgot. Still, nutrients alone aren't enough. Your legs also need messengers, and that's where mussels begin to matter. Best seafood number 3. Mussels, small creatures that reconnect the body's broken recovery loop. Mussels, clams, and similar shellfish are often overlooked. They're small, not particularly high in protein, and rarely seen as a main source of nourishment. But for the body after 60, they serve a different purpose. They quietly provide essential micronutrients needed for deep repair, especially in muscle tissue, nerve signaling, and mitochondrial function. These shellfish contain high levels of vitamin B12, zinc, selenium, choline, and iron. These are not sources of fuel, but rather the biological tools that help the body know how to use fuel efficiently. They support communication between nerves and muscles, protect nerve endings from oxidative stress, and stabilize ATP production in mitochondria, the tiny organelles that produce energy for every step you take. Without these micronutrients, even if glucose and fat are present, the machinery fails to engage. It's like having raw materials in a factory, but no trained technician to activate the system. Zinc acts like a cellular sensor, allowing the body to detect and regulate inflammation without overreacting. It supports enzyme activity involved in muscle repair and immune balance. B12 and choline improve the speed and clarity of signals along motor neurons by preserving the myelin sheath, a protective layer that wraps around nerves. When these nutrients are missing, the message from your brain to your legs becomes delayed or disrupted, resulting in hesitation, imbalance, or weakness when standing. Selenium functions as an internal antioxidant, neutralizing free radicals before they can impair nerve communication or mitochondrial output. The protein in mussels is moderate, but easy to digest and non-inflammatory. More importantly, it comes packaged with the micronutrients that guide the repair process with biochemical precision. It's not about volume, it's about coordination, not overpowering, just steady, reliable support where it's most needed. After a few weeks of eating mussels regularly, many of my older patients report subtle but important changes, standing up more confidently, climbing stairs with less fatigue, and experiencing fewer episodes of leg heaviness after prolonged sitting. These improvements may be quiet, but they are not random. They're confirmation that the body, given the right signals, still remembers how to repair and restore, even after years of slowdown. And sometimes, the most meaningful recovery doesn't come from more effort, but from feeding the systems that quietly power everything underneath. For the signals to reach their destination, one final helper is needed. And that's the quiet work of anchovies. Best seafood number 4. Anchovies, a tiny fish that helps the body receive forgotten signals. Anchovies are often seen as a condiment added to sauces, broths, or stews, rather than a main source of nutrition. But for the body, after age 60, anchovies are more than just food. They are biological signals that help regulate the recovery process that has begun to slow down, especially in muscles, nerves, and cellular energy production. Anchovies are rich in calcium, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, B12, and selenium, nutrients that don't produce energy directly, but determine whether the body can convert available energy into movement and repair. Muscles, nerves, and mitochondria all require keys to unlock specific functions. Though small, anchovies carry those keys in the right combination and in forms that are immediately usable by aging cells. The calcium found in anchovies, especially when consumed whole, with bones, is easily absorbed by the intestines. When paired with vitamin D, also present in the fish, it's directed into the right tissues, namely bones and neuromuscular junctions. Without enough vitamin D, calcium may circulate aimlessly in the bloodstream, increasing the risk of calcification. Without sufficient calcium at the right sites, nerve-to-muscle signaling slows like electrical current running through poor-quality wiring, resulting in weaker, delayed muscle contraction. The omega-3s in anchovies, while less concentrated than in fatty fish, still play an important role in softening cellular membranes, dampening chronic low-level inflammation, and improving micro-level muscle recovery. Selenium and vitamin B12 serve as essential cofactors and neurotransmission messengers, ensuring that signals from the brain to the muscles transmitted via nerves are delivered accurately and without delay. They also support the production of myelin, the insulating sheath that wraps around neurons, keeping signals sharp and intact. When these nutrients are missing for extended periods, the nervous system gradually shifts into energy conservation mode, slowing down reflexes, reducing spontaneous movement, and creating a subtle sense of fatigue or sluggishness, even when food is available. At that point, the body may have glucose and fat circulating in the blood, but without the proper intracellular triggers, cells won't open their gates. As one passage wisely says, like a wealthy man locking up his granary, then begging for food. Anchovies act as the small but necessary key that helps reopen that locked storehouse of energy and function. You don't need to eat large servings of anchovies, but consumed regularly, they help the body remember how to recognize fuel, how to apply it effectively, and how to restart the recovery systems that had gradually gone silent over time. I've seen it too often, older patients telling me their legs just aren't the same anymore. Not from any injury, but from a quiet fading, less strength, less stability, less trust in their own steps. And yet, the cause often doesn't begin in the legs themselves, but in the choices made at dinner. The wrong seafood, light, familiar, seemingly harmless, can slowly interrupt the body's ability to recover. Without the right signals, muscles don't rebuild, nerves don't fire as quickly, and fatigue becomes a daily expectation. Each meal that misses the mark is a missed opportunity for repair. But there is a path back. The right seafood choices, sardines, salmon, mussels, and anchovies, don't just fill you up. They carry the nutrients that speak your body's language: omega-3s that calm inflammation, B12 that strengthens nerve signals, selenium that protects fragile systems, and gentle protein that supports muscle maintenance. These foods are not magic, but they are remembered by the body. Even after years of silence, they bring back clarity, control, and energy from within. The longer these systems are left unsupported, the harder they are to restart. Mitochondria slow, nerve signals lose strength. The body forgets how to respond. But the window isn't closed, not yet. And acting now gives your body a better chance to restore while it still knows how. Begin simply. Choose one of the 4 seafoods. Add it to your dinner twice a week. Pay attention to the mornings, the first few steps, the ease of standing, the way your legs feel after walking. Let your body show you it's still listening. You don't have to do everything. Just give your body something it recognizes. One meal, one message, one small act of restoration at a time. Your legs will remember what strength feels like.